This is Bryn. She's my daughter Julianne's dog. I know you all have seen dogs before. I also know you probably are familiar with wood. This is a pile of wood I saw on one of my morning walks this week. When you put dog and wood together, you make a compound word, dogwood. Now, for those of you who explored trees in the cemetery with Sherry 2 summers ago, you may have seen dogwood trees. Now is the time when they are all in bloom. Some are pink and some are white. This week when I saw all those beautiful dogwood trees, I wondered where the dogwood tree got its name. So I Googled it. I found out that the wood from the dogwood tree is very hard and strong. A Celtic word from the same Welsh language that the settlers of our church spoke is dag. That's D-A-G or D-A-G-G-E. A dag is a small wooden pointed tool made from the dogwood. It is useful for cleaning out small spaces that are easily scratched, like jewelry or in watches. Because of the wood's special strength, this tree was also used for the best wooden shuttles for weaving and even for the hard heads of golf clubs. Now, other people believe the name for the dogwood came from the fact it was good for dogs. Check out that bark of the dogwood tree. Would you believe that is used to treat mange in dogs? Mange is a skin problem that makes dogs have an itchy, scaly skin. People used to boil the dogwood bark and then use that water to wash their dogs. But the bark bath did little, if anything, to help the dogs. Now my other daughter, Lynette, has a rescue dog named Trixie. It looked like it had mange when she brought it home from the shelter. It looks a lot better now after the vet gave it some medicine. Now, thinking about dogwoods also made me think about Sunday school when I was a child. I remember hearing a make-believe story about the dogwood. While it's not true, it does remind me of Good Friday. According to that old story, the dogwood tree used to grow large and tall like an oak tree. At the time when Jesus was hung on the cross, it was said that the wood from the dogwood tree was chosen to make that cross. Well, this use upset the dogwood tree so much that Jesus felt sorry for the tree. He promised that dogwood trees would never again grow big enough to be for a cross. Instead of growing tall and straight, it would be twisted and bent. The 4 petals of the flowers would form the shape of a cross, with 2 long petals and 2 short ones. In the center of each petal edge, a rusty nail mark would be cut with a stain like blood around the edge. The center of the flower looked like a crown of thorns, from which blood-red berries form. While the story is fascinating to think about, dogwood trees did not grow where Jesus lived. I also learned that the Cherokee people, Native Americans who live in our country, also had a legend about the dogwood. They believed that a tiny race of people, like elves, lived in the forest and watched over them. They were called the Dogwood people. They taught them how to live in harmony with nature and watched over the old people and babies. The Dogwood people believed in being good and kind to others. They often did many acts of kindness. Surely God would like us to be like those imaginary dogwood people who are also kind and helpful. As you look at the dogwoods in bloom all around us, look at that twisted trunk, its cross-like flowers, and the crown of thorns. Remember how Jesus died and now lives again. Also imagine that you could be like those dogwood people who, like Jesus, did good deeds and cared for the earth as well as others.